Today's objective is dividing monomials. Dividing monomials is really just simplifying fractions. So if you had a fraction and you could divide something out to reduce it, that's what you do all the time, and that's what we're doing here. It's just a little bit bigger problem that we're dealing with. So let's do one. 12x to the fifth divided by 2x to the third. You break it up. You do your like terms, just like when we're multiplying. So I'm going to break it up so it's 12 over 2, and then since this is 12 times 5x, I'm going to have the two pieces be multiplied, times 5x's in the numerator and 3x's in the denominator. And I broke it out. So 12 divided by 2 is the same as 6 over 1, right? I'm going to keep it as a fraction right now. And whenever you have something the same in the numerator and the denominator, anything over itself makes 1. So x over x, you can cross that out and write 1. Another x over x. Another x over x. Now the only, okay, I'll even do this one too. We crossed that out and said 6 over 1. So the only thing we have left in the top is the 6 and 2 x's, because otherwise it's 6 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is the same as 6. And then in the denominator, we just have 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. So we've simplified it. Okay, so it's 6. How many x's? X squared over 1, which we could just write as 6x squared. And I shouldn't have even written this first 1 to begin with. I should have just simplified it here because I had to write another extra step. But it's pretty easy. You just divide your fractions like you already have, and then cross out the number of x's that are the same, or the number of y's that are the same in the numerator and the denominator. And whatever you have left, you write it where it is. There were 2 left in the numerator, so there's 2 left in the numerator. Let's do another one. 8 x to the third, y to the fourth, divided by 10x, y to the seventh. So I broke down my numbers, and then here I have all my variables. So let's simplify. What goes into 8 and 10? 2. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 goes into 10 5 times. Now let's simplify our variables. X over x. So I wrote 3 x's and 4 y's, just in case you didn't notice. 1 x and 7 y's. Remember, if it doesn't have an exponent, it's because it's just 1. There's only 1 x here. So x over x becomes 1. Now I don't have any x's to simplify with these in the denominator, so I can't do anymore. So I just have 4 y's, so I'm going to come from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, that was really this one. Okay, and I don't have any other y's in the numerator to cancel out with these y's. So I'm done. So let's go across and say what our numerator is and what our denominator is. 4x squared, because there's 2 of them. 5y to the third. And we're finished, because there's nothing that's similar in the numerator and the denominator that we can simplify. 4 and 5 don't have a common factor except for 1, and that wouldn't change anything. And x and y, those are different letters, so we can't simplify them. Let's do another one. 18, a to the third, b to the third, over 27, a to the fourth, b. Okay, so I wrote my 18, 3 a's, 3 b's, my 27, 4 a's and a b. What goes into 18 and 27? How about 9? 2 times and 3 times. Now let's simplify our variables. Oh, no more a's there. No 1b. What do we have left in the numerator? 2 times 1 times 1 times 1. So I just ignore them after I've crossed them out, because I know it's just 1. If I've crossed everything out, I know it's just 1. But here I have 2b squared divided by 3. Those a's are crossed out. Oh, 1a. Okay. Look at what we've done for a minute. Let's go back. Here I had 5 x's in the numerator, 3 x's in the denominator, and my answer had 2 x's in the numerator. Here I had 3 x's in the numerator, 1 x in the denominator. 4 y's in the numerator, 7 y's in the denominator. And my final answer, I had 2 x's in the numerator and 3 y's in the denominator. And in this one I ended up with, here I had 3 a's in the numerator, 4 in the denominator, and I ended up with 1 in the denominator. 3 b's in the numerator, 1 in the denominator, and I ended up with 2 b's in the numerator. Do you notice a shortcut that you could use for the variables instead of writing them all out and simplifying individually? Do you notice that you could subtract? So the variable stays where there were the most originally. So let's look at this. 5 in the numerator, 3 in the denominator. Where are there more? Numerator. 5 minus 3, 2. X's, 3 in the numerator, 1 in the denominator. 3 minus 1, 2. Y's, 4 in the numerator, 7 in the denominator. Where are there more? Denominator. 7 minus 4, 3. Okay, so you can always write them out, but once you understand this, you go, oh, all I have to do is subtract. Okay? But I want you to know you can always write them out. So let's practice these 3 using the shortcut of subtracting. Let's simplify 8 over 24. I'm sorry, let's simplify 16 over 24. I was already thinking, what could I divide into that? I can divide 8 into 16 and get 2. I can divide 8 into 24 and get 3. How many x's are in the numerator? 2. How many in the denominator? 1. Where are there more? In the numerator. 2 take away 1? 1 left in the numerator. How about our y's? 1 in the numerator, you can always write that in. 3 in the denominator. There's more in the denominator. How many more? 2. And that's our final answer. Okay? So you can write it all out to simplify it, to make sure you know what you're doing. But then once you understand it, you understand all I'm doing is simplifying and telling where, you know, subtracting and saying where we have some left, and that's where they live. All right, let's do this one. What goes into 15 and 10? 5. How many times? 3 and 2. Let's do our a's. Where would there be some left? How many? Hopefully you said a squared in the numerator. What about the b's? Where are there more? So if you canceled them out, where would there be some left? And how many? Hopefully you said b squared. Last one, 20 and 30. We could just cross off the zeros, huh? Because 10 goes into both of those. 2 and 3. What about my x's? Hopefully you said x squared in the numerator. What about my y's? Hopefully you said y to the 4th in the denominator. All right, we'll do more of these, but I want you to remember you can always write them out, but once you understand what you're doing, you can subtract.